So the Suns are back doing more things. I mean, let's see what they've done today. The Suns obviously are one of now the favorites to win the championship next year, since consistently throughout the year they've been, you know, making moves like getting Bradley Beal, trading Chris Paul, adding quality role players, and now they've managed to sign a bunch of guys under contract, like Eric Gordon and like Yuta Watanabe, who are going to be contributing pieces to their next year lineup. Now, where this all comes to a peak is that they have DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal, which combined already go like $30 million over the salary cap. Like combined, their salaries make up like $160 million, 150, and that's like more than what the salary cap was last year, and more than what it's gonna be next year probably. So when we're looking at a team like the Suns, it's like how do you build around all of this thing, like around this big focus, which is winning a championship. So you got three stars, and now what do you do? So today they made some moves. I want to talk about them. And first, I want to say that they've had a good offseason. They got Rashawn Holmes, right? They went through the draft, and they've been one of these teams which just kept themselves consistently in free agency doing moves, right? Like, they've made moves to make their team better, and I just want to talk about some of them as they've come. First, I want to talk about Eric Gordon. He's a player who they signed on a minimum deal. They got Keita Bates out. They have Damian Lee. They have Drew Eubanks, Chimezie Metu, Yuta Watanabe, right? Isaiah Todd. And they have a bunch of players who could play real NBA minutes. And today they did something which I found extremely interesting, is that they traded Cameron Payne to the Spurs for a second round pick in cash. From what we've seen from the trade, this is what happened. And in my opinion, I don't understand this move, right? Like, the Suns need players. And yes, their salary is way too high, but most of the players which you got are on veteran minimums. So they can manage to keep some of their players. The Phoenix Suns look like they don't know what they're doing. They couldn't stop Jokic in the playoffs this year, and they go out and get Bol, which is another signing, which, in my opinion, is good. But it's like, what are you doing, right? Like, you lost Jock Landale, which, even though, yes, okay, he's not that big of a player, you still lost him, right? And now you're stuck. You lost Torrey Craig, if I'm not mistaken. And now Cameron Payne, which is a guy which has been in your franchise for a long time, he makes a decent amount of money. You trade him for cash. Now I understand the salary cap is a real problem, and that the new CBA could really affect the Suns, even if most of their guys are in one-year contracts. But you're building for next season. And if you don't get some better players on your team, you're not going to win a championship. Like, there's no distributor here. I don't see one guy who could pass the ball on this team effectively. KD can, and Devin Booker can pass it enough to make it work. But, like, Bradley Beal is not passing that ball. Like, he's not. And DeAndre Ayton barely even got touches last year in the playoffs. Every single time he gets the ball, he's going to try to do something with it. Even if it's dunk it and miss and then get some free throws. Like, this team needs to get themselves, in my opinion, before everything. Like, they got rid of Monty Williams, which is good for DeAndre Ayton. They brought in Frank Vogel. And now as they've settled down, you got a championship coach. which has worked with Hall of Fame top 75 players and arguably the GOAT in LeBron James. So now as a team, what you need to focus on is changing your mentality, right? Like the Suns had a very soft mentality for a few years. They were just win to win, right? Just win. And when you're not winning with heart, when you're not winning with emotions, when you're just winning just to win, right? Like even a guy like Jokic, he was poised and he wanted to win. You could tell Jokic wants to win. It's just that he treats the NBA like a job, you know? So it's like everyone wants to do good at their job, but it's not like most people are gonna enjoy it unless your job is like, you know, go and fly around the world. So it's like even Jokic said it, like obviously he wanted to win a championship, he wants to be a great. But it's not like he's gonna chase that, you know, but because he has to be the best player in the world because that's his job, right? So with the Suns, they always had this mentality of just win, and in my opinion, it was always a flawed point of view, you know, like because it's like, what are you winning for? You know, Chris Paul was always a leader who focused on winning more than he focused on trying. You could tell that when stuff got rough in a match and you needed him to step up, he never would. And then DeAndre Ayton is another guy who has that really soft mentality. Devin Booker's trying to be Kobe Bryant. And Kevin Durant is just way too chill. So, in their essence last year, it just seemed like they were mentally off. Like they could score enough points to win. And that's never going to be a question with the Suns. And I'm sorry, but that's just the truth. And between Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, whatever combinations you want to throw out there, they're going to score enough points to win if you got Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and Kevin Durant on the floor, right? You're going to win some games because they're just going to score that much. But in my opinion, this year, right, and coming into the next year, the one thing the Suns need right now is some size. Like, if I would be the Suns right now, I would get Dwight Howard. I would get Boogie Cousins. I mean, maybe not Boogie because in my opinion, his mentality of wanting to be a star is kind of flawed. You know, you could tell that Dwight also, but Dwight will actually play real significant minutes in the playoffs. And as the Suns progress throughout their championship runs, they're going to need that guy. Like, DeAndre Ayton is not going to earn 50 pounds of muscle in an offseason to guard Jokic and Embiid. And if you get Giannis in the finals, we already saw what happened. Like, so in my opinion, what should happen with the Suns is that they should focus on, now that they got some money, since Payne left, what they should do is try to tap into the free agent market, sign Dwight Howard, sign Boogie Cousins, sign any big center with some size that cannot be moved by Jokic, right? Like, when we saw Dwight Howard in 2020, he was, like, making Jokic suffer. Now, of course, Jokic is not the same player. He's much more poised, much smarter, and plays the game with much more control and much more consistency than before. But when we're talking about, like, what you need to do as a potential playoff team, in my opinion, you need size, points, and defense. And they can't defend, they can score. Now, in my opinion, the Suns will be good. You know, they'll do what they'll do. It doesn't matter what we say about the Suns. They have 3 All-NBA caliber players, right? And the only reason why Bradley Beal was not playing to that esteem was because he was in Washington, in a team which, when he was going crazy, they took his favorite player away from him. So, in my opinion, we just have to see what the Suns do. In my opinion, they should sign Dwight, Boogie, whoever, big center. And they should focus on their future as winning the championship. You got a new coach, you got some new players, you got a new system. The Phoenix Suns just need to focus on winning the championship. They have the players, they have the tools, The only thing that they're missing is a big, strong center. And if they actually want to go through with winning the championship, they have all the foundations laid out. Now, are they going to win a championship in year one? Is that even possible? I don't know because their coaching changed, but you do have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, DeAndre Ayton, and a bunch of great role players. So, in my opinion, if I'm a Suns fan, I'm putting my chips in and I'm saying I'm betting on my team that they're going to be good this year. All the problems, you're just going to have to forget them and be happy with the result because the Suns look awesome even if you don't like them.